Let's talk about selling. Specifically, let's talk about the best sales techniques that you can use so that you can sell without being pushy and sleazy, those kinds of emotions that cause so many of us not to want to be in the position of having to sell to people. So I believe that most people don't like selling. And the reason they don't is they don't want to come across as being sleazy, as being dishonest. But most of all, I think the thing that people are most uncomfortable with, because they know they're not going to be sleazy and dishonest. They're not going to stretch the truth. The thing that they're concerned about is that they don't want to be seen as a pushy salesman. How do you sell without being pushy? So the key is to understand what you can and should push and what you shouldn't. And I'm going to show you exactly how to sell without being pushy here as we go along. There's two key principles you need to understand, which is this. Number one, most people don't want to buy, not because they don't want what it is that you have to sell, but because they just don't want to spend money. And so they set up defenses around themselves so that they won't spend money on anything. Consequently, they tend to reject offers. And then the second principle is that people need to decide. Because there's a really important thing about a decision in the buying process, which is no decision, not deciding to buy, is a decision not to buy. Let me say that again. A decision, if you don't reach a decision about whether you should buy this or not, you're actually deciding not to buy. And the challenge of that is that many people make no decisions. In other words, they decide, they don't make a decision, and that decision actually hurts them because they really should have bought that thing. Insurance, health insurance, things like that, okay? So people make no decision, which causes them to make a decision not to buy, which actually hurts them in the long run, okay? So by not making a decision, they are making the decision not to buy. And if they would just carefully consider, they'll make a better decision. They may make a decision that, no, I can't afford this. No, this isn't right for me. But at least then they've made a carefully considered decision, not just avoiding making a decision at all. So the key thing when it comes down to selling without being pushy is there is something that you should push. And that is, you should push them to make a decision. It can be yes, buy, or it can be no, don't buy. And in reality, you honor the people who say no, don't buy, because you don't want them to buy your stuff if it's not right for them. You want to support them in the process of making the decision that's best for them. And that decision can be no, or it can be yes. It all depends on their particular situation. They have to do what's right for them, and you need to give them the information and the freedom to make that decision without being pushy, because you're not equipped to do something, this is where we get into sleazy and pushy. And that is, you're not equipped to tell them that this is right for them, because you just don't have the information to say that. You don't know about their life. You don't know about their finances. You don't know about their time. You don't know about all the pressures that are on them. You don't know about everything that's going on in their life. You don't have the ability to be able to tell them whether it's right for them or not. Now, you've created this amazing thing. You believe it's right for everyone, but you don't know everyone's individual situation. Only they can answer the question of whether it is right for them or not. So it's okay for you, and you should push them to make a decision But probably too pushy is to tell them this is right for you. You should buy this, especially without spending some extra time with them one-on-one personally to guide your thoughts as you make a recommendation as to whether they should do it or not. So let's talk about a very specific sales strategy that allows you to push people to make a decision without being pushy, without saying this is right for you. That all makes sense? We're going to push them to make the decision in a non-pushy way without saying this is right for you. All right. So I'm going to give you a series of things that are important to do to push people to make a decision. The first thing is to start off by giving huge value, helping them understand things that will help them in the transformation that they're trying to achieve. So that can be information to help them to get started in the process of moving towards the transformation that they want to receive. It can be information about comparing the different products out there, so the review sites and things like that. It can be information about the things that can bite them in this decision. All those things are value that you can give depending on what the product is that you're selling. If you're selling a course or coaching or some kind of information product, then oftentimes the value that you're giving them is not about the competitive things. It's about how to start down the path of achieving the transformation you're helping them to get. That's huge value. Then give as much information as possible to help them decide whether it's right for them. So not only do you need to give the information about how to start down the transformation path, you also need to give them some information about your product, about your guarantee, about your pricing, about all the different elements so that they've got all that information that they need to be able to make the decision. Next, you need to give them some incentives to decide. Because remember, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to push them to decide. The answer can be yes, the answer can be no, but our job is to help them make that decision. And so you can do things like limited time availability. You've all seen launches where this thing is only open until Friday at midnight or something like that. That is this exact thing. You're giving them limited time availability to push them to make a decision without pushing them. You're just, hey, this expires on a certain date. You need to make this decision. You can give them special bonuses that can help them to help to resolve their objections, help them to fill in the pieces that they may not otherwise have to help them to make that decision. You can give them samples of what they're going to get. So you can give them special reports. You can give them access to certain pieces of information that's in this product that you're giving them. Hey, this is what you get when you walk through Costco and someone's giving you a scoop of ice cream. They're giving you a sample of what you're going to get if you buy that whole thing. Sampling works. Next, you can give them payments over time to make it easier for them to make a buying decision. You can give them testimonials and case studies so they can see that other people who invested in this have had these great results. You can give them community so that they can talk amongst themselves and see other people who are part of this so they can make a decision. Is this something that people like me are tending to buy? You can give them authority, proof that you know what you're teaching or you know what you're doing in this process. And you can give them opportunities to talk with someone on your team to help them make that decision. Because oftentimes people have made the whole decision. They just want some assurance that you will treat them well. And oftentimes the only way they can get that assurance is by talking with someone one-on-one who will help them to deal with their objections and give them assurance that, hey, we're going to take care of you. I can't promise you're going to achieve this amazing transformation. You're going to lose 50 pounds in the next 2 months, but I can assure you that we're going to give you all the information, all the support and everything you need to be able to do that yourself. And you can give them a guarantee, which gives them the ability to get out if it's not right for them. All of these things combine to encourage, to push them towards making a decision. Now, notice nowhere in that list of things that I gave you in terms of the way to push people to make a decision, did I say, you should make a decision now. What I did is I gave a whole bunch of little tools which all combine to push them towards making a decision. The core of this whole thing is that this process is a non-pushy way to create sales. It starts with this concept of giving them huge amount of value. That's the core of this non-pushy, non-sleazy sales process. You give them great value, you make everything transparent, and then you say, now you need to make a decision. It could be right for you. It may not be right for you. It's up to you. That's a really easy sell. That's a non-pushy sell. That puts the onus of them making the decision on their shoulders, not on you pushing them to make the purchase. Thoughts? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.